guys, we're live. It's Wednesday and it's Wire Lady TV, 2 p.m. Eastern Time in Montreal. And I'm sorry that our live streams are at different times every week, but my schedule is pretty unpredictable. So I'm trying to do Wednesdays, which is great. And I'm just going to pull up the video on my computer. I'm filming on my iPod, which is quality's not great, but it's better than when I try to stream on YouTube itself. It's not super good because it's hard to get it so it doesn't buffer. Hey Clarice, you're the first one on. How are you doing? I'm just going to pull up the live on my computer if I can find it. I cannot find it. So if you guys can see me, I guess that's all good, but for some reason I can't see it on my computer. So I'll keep, oh, there we go. I keep refreshing my screen. Perfect. So let me know where you guys are watching from. And I'm just going to watch the comments over here and then look over here. And I think I'm going to do the video face forward for a little bit because I'm working on a relatively large project. I was actually inspired by Matt's Crazy Art channel. If you haven't already checked out his channel, be sure to check it out. He does a lot of wire jewelry. He works mostly with copper, and he sells at, I think he sells in a shopping mall because he often films his videos from there. And he also has all kinds of inspirational tips for artists and entrepreneurs as well. But he was using this thick copper wire one day, and I said, oh, I have some of that in my basement, so I'm going to do a project with that today. And Pamela's on. Hey, how are you? From Lorain, Ohio. Awesome. So is it getting a little chilly down there? Today is our first super cold day in Montreal, so that's a little bit of a drag, but you know, we just have to get used to it. I've started wearing tights underneath my jeans to stay warm, so that's a good thing. So to start with, and there's, hi Angelina, how are you? From NYC, oh, one of my favorite places. My daughter and I were in NYC in the spring, and I just love it there. And there's Janine. Awesome. That's fantastic. So guys, I'll show you a few little things I'm working on right now. It's the Christmas season, of course. So I'm working on, these are actually a donation for the Women's Center near here. They're having a silent auction. So here's some things. Hey Jody, how are you? Here's some things. These are typical of what I sell on my Etsy shop. So I have a reindeer pin, a bookmark with the treble clef and the note, and the cat earrings. Hey Peggy. So these are some things I'm donating for that, and so that's fun. And then the other thing I'm working on is, that's going to be next week's video. You guys get, or Saturday's video, you get a sneak peek. It's the I love you symbol done on the artistic wire jig. Hey Ruth, how are you? From Illinois? Cool. And you can see my little sample. I ran out of wire, so it's pretty funny. It's got, like, I cut it off there, but this is going to be how to do the I love you symbol with the artistic wire jig. So that's cool. So Inga's here and Pamela, everybody's hopping on. That's awesome. And I also found this really old business card that I made years ago. Before I had a computer, I think I typed it. And yeah, Jody saw the bookmark. Yeah, that's a fun one. So I used to call my business Filament many years ago, and just because of, you know, the wire and all that kind of thing. So I called my business Filament for many years, and now I just go by Heather Boyd Wire. And there's Anne. Hey, how are you? And another fun thing I'm working on is I made a book of some of my comics. I don't know if you guys know, but I write quirky kind of comics on Instagram at Heather Boyd Comics. So I put together a little book, and I actually sold one yesterday, which was super, super fun. So they're all like photo comics, and they're really silly. They're kind of, this is sort of the iconic one that kind of went viral on Reddit. So that was pretty crazy, but maybe I'll link that up in my description below if you need a little bit of comedy relief. So what I'm going to do is, maybe I can flip the screen. I just want a white-ish background. So what if I just flip the screen around like this, just so there's not too much distraction in the back. There we go. So we should be okay like that. Yeah. I rearranged my house a little bit, so I've always wanted a little breakfast nook, but I can't afford a kitchen renovation. So I don't know if you could see, in between these two cabinets, I put like a little bench with some cushions. So that's my little pseudo breakfast nook. So that'll do me for now until I win the lottery, which may or may not happen, since I don't buy lottery tickets, so that might be tricky. So let me move that down there. And what I'm going to show you guys, let me just pick it up, is I have this humongoid roll of wire. It's super heavy, And this is what I was saying that Matt has in his, had a video where he was making some things with this wire. And it's copper wire. And Glennis says, you're a great artist. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much, Glennis. I really appreciate it. So I'm gonna, yeah, this wire, oh my God, I need this. This is some from a hardware store or something. I don't even remember where I got it, but it's like probably weighs, I don't know, 40 pounds or something. So what I'm going to do is cut a big piece and try to make a tree with it. I've been enjoying Matt's videos as well. Yeah, Matt's awesome. I really love him. I'm actually was asking him if he'd like to do a collaboration sometime, but we're trying to figure out the logistics of how we would do that. Maybe a Google Hangout or something. So let me just move a little bit. And so I'm going to cut a big piece of wire. So I buy it from Home Depot. This same one? Okay, that's so cool. So the other thing I made with this thick wire was I made a head scratcher one time, which was super cute. And I should try to find it to show you guys. I don't know where I put it. But I figure if I cut a piece, I don't think it has to be super long, but I'm going to cut a piece, say it's about 18 inches long. And how I cut through that, you could actually, I guess, cut it with regular pliers, but look at my cutters. This is my husband had these cutters. So I'm just going to prop at them on my knee because they're kind of hard to maneuver. And then you just stick this in here and you literally just like, wow, push it like that. So that cuts through all 7 layers of the wire. And so now I'll just put this back on the ground and come back over. And here we go. Bolt cutters, that's what they are. Yes, absolutely. So I don't know why he had those. He actually used to build real bicycles with his friend with welding and everything. So maybe that's why he had them. So the idea for this would, because you want to work with the idea that they're that these are all stuck together. So I'm just going to try this. It might end up being a too skinny tree, but I can also always add some after. So what I would do is just pull these apart. Now this wire is pretty tarnished, so you could probably use that red cloth to clean it up a little bit. So what I'm just going to do is separate these, and I might be able to flip the screen at some point, but for now I think I'm going to just do it this way so the wire doesn't get like stuck on the iPod screen. So I'm basically just separating these, okay? We're just going to separate them out and just spread them. So those would be the trunk of the tree. So we just have those spread out like that. And usually what I would do to make the roots, I guess, is just bend them a little bit around like that. And then what you can do is start to separate them at the top. And now I already see that these are going to be a little bit long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit more off of that. I'll just let it fly anywhere and I'll pick it up after. And so if we just spread these again, so we're just going to spread them out again, and I might end up adding some wire to this because I think it might not have enough wires to it. But this is going to be a fairly simple one, and I'll show you how I'll finish it off after with a bit of, I'm going to add some green for the pseudo leaves and add some beads. So it's going to be like an apple tree. That was my idea. So we'll see if that's going to work. If I miss any of your comments, I really apologize. Once I've done the basic part, I'll try to get up and look at the comments a little more. So really, this is just sort of like a simple start to the tree. Now to make it more interesting, what you could do is kind of give it a little bend back and forth to give it a little bit of a form. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a form on there. And then I'm seeing already that we probably have to add another wire to hold it all together. So what I'm going to do is just place that at the side for a sec. Okay, and I'll cut another piece of wire with the cutters. I need to get an industrial bolt cutter. Yes, definitely. It's super cool. So I'm going to cut another piece. And this big roll of wire, I had it for years, and I probably have enough for my lifetime, unless I found a design that was, you know, I was going to really use a lot of this wire. But because I mostly use the aluminum wire for my regular work, I wouldn't really need to use this too much. So now, if you're finding your wires are bending around a little bit, what you can do is actually take another wire and just bend it, like loop it right around this wire, because you have to anchor it somewhere. So if we just anchor it around here, okay, and you could actually, I'm just trying to see what I'm going to do. I'm just going to wind it around up like this for now. I'm just playing around with it. And that's the thing with these trees. You could really just play around with it. So if we add one, okay, I'm going to get to the side, you can see a little better. And then if we just take these two of these wires, then we could twist them together just to give it a little more kind of depth. So now we've anchored it. We've twisted here and twisted on the bottom. So now what I'll do is I'll actually cut the one on the bottom. I'll use my regular cutters to cut it because we don't really need the industrial cutters to cut a single wire. And then we can add another piece. So I'll go ahead and separate this again. So we're gonna add, separate this again so we have a few more strands. I'm not gonna go like over the top adding too much wire to this because it's just really to show you guys the idea. So now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna take it and anchor it to another wire. Okay, just choose whichever one you want. We're just gonna anchor it again to another wire. Okay, and clip it. And then, like I said, once I've done the base, I'll probably flip the screen around so we could see a little better what I'm doing. So we're gonna wind this around. And then this is adding depth, like thickness to your tree, and it's anchoring the wire. So same thing, you could like go up to one of these wires here and then twist them together. So that way you have like different lengths of branches. So it's already coming together. I think I'm gonna do one more because I don't want to do too much because I will be adding the green leaves. But I mean, you could just go on and on with this if you want to add a lot of more wires. You could definitely keep going with it. So now find a spot where you can anchor the wire again. Just choose where you want it to be. So kind of alternate it a little bit. So we're going to go here. Oh, I'm getting some making that look super easy, Heather. Yeah, that's, I guess I tend to do that, but it really, this wire is a little tricky because it's stiff. So for sure it's not super easy. I'm not going to say it's easy, but once you have the hang of it, it's not too bad. My daughter actually made a bunch of these trees before and we sold them for her in our Etsy shop. So that was really cool. So if she could do it, you guys could do it for sure. So now same thing, I'm going to choose where I want to bend it. So maybe, which one do I want to do? I'll just do this one. So with that same thing, we're going to twist it around. Okay. And this, like I said, you could just really go to town and keep adding wires and keep making it more fancy. And at the bottom, if you find you have too many roots, you could also, like, say if you want to get rid of one, you could just either clip it off or twist it around one of the other ones. So to finish off the roots, what you can do is take your round pliers, okay, and just turn the end around. Okay, turn the end around just so it's got a little bit of a finish, or you don't even have to make that loop if you don't want to. I'm just doing that so there's not too much of a really sharp end on it, okay? And it's just going to make it a little more finished, but there's a few alternatives that you could do with these. Like I've seen people wrap them around rocks, which is super cool. You could definitely do that, or just finish it like this. But I do like the idea of kind of finishing the ends a little bit, just because you really don't want it to be scratchy, especially with this type of wire. There's some little sharp ends. And then the roots, you can make them as kind of long or short as you want. So I'm just kind of winging it here. So here's the roots. They're just basically squiggled around like that. And then what I'm going to have to do is, it's going to be hard for you to see. Maybe if I could turn this around. I'm just going to sit it on the table. Here we go. That's not too bad. So if we just sit it on the table like this and then kind of adjust it to get it to sit all right. I'm really missing the comments. I'm so sorry. So there we go. It's a nice, this is a nice gift. Yes, yeah, you could definitely make this as a gift for sure. I need to make some with bigger gauge. Yes, yes. So this gauge would be probably at least a 18 or 16 gauge wire, maybe 16. So yeah, so here's, oh, that's good. I can see in my in the screen how it looks here. So I'm just gonna probably try to put it in a place that you guys can see. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm trying to see my screen and the comments at the same time. So for these wires here, what I would do is, actually this was my daughter's design. What she does is she would just take the pliers and just bend this back and forth, like kind of in a squiggly type of thing. Okay, so you could just kind of bend it back and forth just to give it a little bit of movement and a little bit of depth. So what I did she had made a couple of trees and I actually added the leaves to it, so that was kind of cool. But I think this you don't have to be too careful about this. I think you can just go any which way to go back and forth. And the idea is just to have different levels of wire. You don't want them all on one level. And you don't want to, you don't want them to be kind of all in one place. You want them distributed evenly around the brand, like the trunk type of things. So you could just go ahead and just squiggle them all up. It just gives it a nice little effect. And this is definitely not as detailed as a lot of the trees that we see in the wire group, because I know a lot of people in the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club make these trees, and some of them are very, very detailed. So now the same thing, what you want to do is finish the ends. So you could even make them kind of spirally if you want. That's kind of cool. So I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm just going to make little spiral ends here. So, and they don't all have to go in the same direction. So we're just going to, I wonder if I can, I'm going to bring the camera up a bit and see what's the best way to do this? Oh, you know what I can do? I'm going to try to flip my screen. Bear with me, and I'm going to see if this is going to work. Okay. Yeah, let me try to do it this way. It might not, that might be all right. Okay, so I'm going to try it this way for a little bit, and then I could turn the screen around after. So here's what we have so far with the tree. And I'm going to, I wish this could be, excuse me, a little bit higher, but I'll see what I can do with that. This is just to show you how I, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, how I do the spirals. So this way you're going to be able to see better. So if I take my end and just twist it around, okay, and then because the wire is very soft, it'll kind of just form a spiral like that. So that's a kind of cool way to finish it. Okay, so, and Melissa said I was just notified. Sorry, I'm late. Oh, no worries, Melissa. You could definitely watch the replay. And I'm sorry, I'm not very predictable with my times for the live streams. It really depends. Like tonight, I'm going to a comedy show, so I thought I'll do it in the afternoon. Afternoon seems to be a good time to do it as well, because a lot of people are in the UK. Like Jody, you're in the UK, so it's better for me to do it in the afternoons than the evenings. So here we go. So we're just twisting up these as a spiral. And I've got these pliers are some round, like bigger round nose pliers that I bought in Toronto many years ago. A lot of people ask me where I get my pliers, and unfortunately these are mostly pliers that I bought many, many years ago, and that they're not available now. And a lot of them I bought in the hardware stores. So Jody says you'll have to show pics. Oh, Peggy, oh, I'm missing a whole conversation. I love that, Heather. Reminds me of The Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, yes, that's true, eh? So here we go. So this is, like I said, it's not as elegant as some of the trees that we see in the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club, but elegant isn't really my style. So I'm kind of like funky, artsy, fun stuff. So here we go. we're just going to twist this around to finish it up. So now we have all the ends that are finished up with the spirals, and maybe I'm going to bring this around again. So how can we do this so we can see it? I'm going to flip the screen again so we can see. There we go. Perfect. And let's get back to how I had it set up before, because that might be easier to see. There we go. If we do it kind of like this, that's pretty good. So then you can see it. I really have to find the best way to set this up so I can see it and you guys can see it. So here we go. You have like this messy stuff in the background. Okay, and let me move this one down. There we go. That might work a little better. Yeah, so here's the tree. And then what we want to do is add some greenery. So this you can just bend so it goes up at different levels. That's the idea. We want this as, these are all going to be at kind of different levels. Just, it'll make it more interesting. So we're good. And if some are too long, you could bend them a bit more. There we go. So we're going to do it like that. And then, okay, try to, because there were some areas that were more twisted together. So we're going to just kind of adjust them so it's not symmetrical, but a little more balanced, really. Okay, so there's the basic tree. You can use it as a jewelry holder. That's a great idea. Cool. So here's my green wire. This is just some wire that I got from a local bead store. Hang necklaces for shows. That's an amazing idea. Actually, one time I made one, and I'm trying to think, I think I hung earrings on it. I made one a long time ago, and I was hanging pairs of earrings on it. And yeah, it would definitely be a great display for a craft show. It would be a great conversation piece for sure. So here's this, I think it's like an 18 gauge green wire. So I'm going to get that. And I'm going to, let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Yeah, I really should have a more plain background, but I want, there, maybe that's going to help a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to get the green wire to put around the, for the leaves. If I could untangle this, here we go. So let me move this over, and what I would do for that is just take a bamboo skewer or a chopstick and just wind it around. So if we just hold this here and wind it around, maybe I'll just cut some so it's going to be a little bit easier. I won't have the whole thing in my way. And this is a nice soft aluminum wire, colored wire. So, oh, double swirl and stick photo in the middle. Ooh, yes, a photo holder. You guys are on fire. That's amazing. So here, we're just going to twist this around to make a kind of a spring, okay? And this is how I did one like this for a couple as it was like an apple tree, and it was actually to go on their wedding cake. So, because we sell a lot of these trees as wedding cake toppers. And so what I did was I did like an apple tree with, and I'll show you how to hang the apples on it after. And then I also did like, my husband makes these little wire figures. So we made like these little wire bride and groom. And actually the groom was on his knee proposing to the bride with a diamond ring. So that was super cool. And then I would do is hang a little heart, a little wire heart from the tree with the couple's names or their initials on it. So that's a really cool idea that you could do as a gift, like a special gift to a couple getting married or an anniversary or something like that. That would be super cool. Okay, so when we have N.R. Blackwell, hi from Monroe, Louisiana. Thanks for sharing your expertise. Awesome. I got to get back to work. Oh, okay, yeah, that happens. People do have to work sometimes. I work at home, so I've had my share of jobs over the year, but now I'm very grateful to be able to make a living on Etsy, which is really nice. So here's our little squiggle wire. Let me move. I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna move the camera again. So there we go. Perfect. So I can see. So there we go. So here's our little spiral wire, and what we want to do is attach it to the tree. So tree and attach the wire. no particular rules about this. So we're just going to find a place where we want to start, maybe on the end of one of the branches, and we'll just twist this around. Now this is totally optional. If you like the tree to be plain, you can. If you want to just attach some beads in another way, you can. You could even get like a thinner wire and just attach a whole bunch of beads on there. There's all kinds of possibility. So let's just go ahead. Oh, I didn't do enough squiggles in this, so I'll just squiggle it a little more. And then what I'm going to do is just take this and randomly wrap it around the tree, okay? And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to add more. I think I didn't do enough squiggles here, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to add more. And you can stretch it out. Like if you've made it with the squiggles too close together, you can definitely stretch it out so it'll be spread out more. And this too, if you want to do more, like more of these, a lot more green, just keep going with it. I will definitely do at least one more piece of wire, because it's not really filling up the tree right now. And what I can do is I will definitely post a picture in the group of one of the finished ones that I did before. In fact, I think I might have already posted it before. So the one that was a wedding cake topper. So I've just attached a little bit here, and let's do some more because that's definitely not enough. So we're going to get the wire again and get the chopstick. And even if you don't want to cut the piece, if you're not sure how much you need, it's probably all right, because if you twist your wrist this way, then it doesn't mess up the spool of wire. So if you do your twisting with your left hand, if you're right-handed, otherwise opposite. And then actually I had someone in the Facebook group asking me about tools for left-handed people. Let me know in the comments if any of you are left-handed. And if you are left-handed, maybe let me know if there's any tools that you use that are good for lefties, because I could share that in the group, because we did have a few people in the group that were looking for good quality tools. I remember when I was in school years ago, you know, growing up, and we get these left-handed scissors and try to use them, and it's like, no, not physically possible to do it with your right hand. So I feel the pain of people who are left-handed, because everything is designed for right-handed people in our society. So yeah, if you guys are lefties, let me know, and if you have any tips, let me know and I'll share them. In fact, wouldn't that be a great idea for a Tip Tuesday video? Tips and tricks for people with left-handed jewelry makers. Maybe I could get a guest on that actually is left-handed. So here we go. Still have a bit of green wire left, but I've done quite a big piece. So let's attach that, and maybe that will be enough just to make do for there. So now what I'll do is I'll go back to where I started, the other one. I think Peggy says, I think my nephew is going to be a lefty. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, of course you can tell from a young age because we're born lefty or we're not. So there we go. So I've attached, oh, you can't see. I just attached it on the branch where I started, okay? And same thing, we're going to go around the tree to where we haven't already put the wire, okay? And we're just going to keep attaching it. And I think, like I said, I'm just going to stick with this for now. And if it's not enough greenery, should be all right. I'll just, you can imagine what it will look like with more. And as long as you've wrapped it around each branch at least once, then it's going to look good. So we're just going to keep wrapping and see where, if you see a gap and you think it needs some, just wrap it around, because you can just eyeball it to see what you need. Oh, I'm missing some comments. My daughter is left-handed and she doesn't do crafts very often. Okay. Yeah, some people just aren't crafty, so that's a whole nother situation. Okay, so we're going to bring that around, and then maybe I'll just bring it around to here. I think that'll be fine for now. It looks a little crazy, but this is the idea. We're just going to get this one in here. Okay, so we say I'm a lefty, but just use right-handed tools. With your left hand, no problem. Okay, well maybe pliers aren't as difficult as as scissors then. I'm not quite sure how that works. Okay, so here we've got all kinds of green on there. And let's add, so just imagine if it had a little more greenery on there. I mean, it's stylized, right? So you get an idea. And then if you do want to add, I might add some more green after the fact and show you guys in the Facebook group. But what I'm looking for now is I have little head pins, and I'm just going to take some out to add some apples. So we'll see how it goes. Georgie says, I'm a righty, but I tend to use pliers with my left. Well, it's true, eh? Sometimes we flip back and forth depending on what we're doing. So I probably tend to do that as well. So for the apples, I'm going to use my favorite beads, the red miracle beads. And what I'll do is just stick the bead on the head pin. Okay, stick the bead on the head pin. And then take my large round pliers. I usually would cut it to about 1/2 inch. This looks like it's about 3/4 of an inch. So let me see if I can get away with not trimming it. So you bend it back and then flip this around to make the circle. So this is how it would look. In fact, if you wanted to, you could actually make little head pins with the green wire to make, I could show you how to do that too. That might work as well. But maybe just for, let me just see if that looks better. Okay, I'm going to try it with the green wire too to see if it looks better. So if you do want to do that, and you don't want to use the silver head pins, but you want to be green like the stem of an apple, so you just take this. Hey Kathy, how are you? So we're going to take this and just bend it in a little loop, okay? And we're going to go this way. I can't seem to use left-handed scissors. I turn right-handed scissors upside down. There we go. So, oh, polymer clay for the fruit. That's a great idea. You can make a banana tree. That'd be fun. So this, I did a little loop on the end if I don't want to use the head pin. And then we're going to stick the apple on there. So this kind of sticks down underneath. I guess maybe you could bend it so it's flat underneath. Let me just see. If I bent it sideways, I don't know if that's going to be any better. Yeah, I guess if you wanted it to just be more discreet, you could bend it that way. Let me just see how it looks. That might be better just to have it a little bent underneath. Then it doesn't look like a loop under the apple. And then what you would get to do is just cut it, yeah, to about 1/2 inch, okay? And might be better with the green, I think, because silver doesn't really fit anymore. So we're just going to make the loop, okay? We'll make the loop there. And then you want to find a place on the tree to hang it. So if we put it, probably hang it on one of these, on one of the spirals. Okay, we're just going to hang it on one of the spirals and close it up. Okay, and then that's the idea. You would have the little, now the sun is really bright now, but you'd have the little apple hanging off the tree. So let me just do one more of those. I'm going to bring I'll bring this around so we can see this a little better. Okay, I'm going to bring this down here. See if we can see the tree a little better. Can we see it a little better? Yeah, you can see it pretty good here. Here, I'll lift this up a little more and that down. Okay, sorry guys, it's a little all over the map. So let me move this stuff. Okay, and then this is, you can get an idea of how it, oh wow, it's really tricky to see. How about I back it up a bit? That's gonna be better. Yeah, that's gonna be better here. So now you can see, so I'll show you again how I did the little loop for the apple. Okay, so we're just going to take that little piece of wire, okay, and bend that. And I think what I'll do is, because you want it to be a little bit flat, so I'm going to make this as small as possible and then just bend it up. So that's like that. And then we'll get our 8mm red miracle bead, stick that on there. And then we're going to clip this to about 1/2 inch. Okay. And Claire says, love it. Thank you. Very cute. Thanks, guys. So let's just bend this. And I'll just do this one more. And then I'll finish it up and share a picture in the Facebook group. So we're gonna bring that around, and then just any place you can see on the tree that you wanna add the fruit, you can just go ahead and add it there. And there we have, maybe I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna take the camera out of here, and here, I'm gonna bring it around here so I can show you against a white background. What can we do? Can we do it like this? There we go. So there gives you an idea of how it looks. And I will definitely finish it off and put a picture in the Facebook group. And I think that's it for today, because if I finish the whole thing, it's going to take me another half hour or so. But that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to, if you're not already a member of the group, the Wire Art and Jewelry Makers Club, be sure to join the group. Share pictures of your stuff. And I'm going to double check all the comments in the replay to see if I missed anything. So sorry that this was one I couldn't really watch the comments, but yeah, so thanks to you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon. And next Saturday I'm going to post a video about how to make the ASL sign language decoration for sure. So bye guys, and thanks again for watching. See you soon. Bye.